Thais, I think probably we're up and running now.
All right. Okay.
Thais, well, let's get Thais to confirm that. We are, indeed.
Okay, so we're up and ready to go.
Yes.
All right then. It's 1:04 p.m. here on October 21st, 2025. And this meeting of the Complaint Review Committee of the Guardianship Certification Advisory Board will begin. First order of business is to call the roll. Jason Armstrong,
Here.
Leonard James,
Here.
Nathan Peters,
Here.
Judge Spencer,
Here.
and I'm Jamie McLean. And it looks like we have a full board, and a quorum is certainly met. So from that, we'll move on to opening remarks from the director.
Mr. Chair and members, thank you all for your time today coming together for this meeting. We really do appreciate the hard work and efforts of the staff in particular who bring matters such as the one that we're going to address today before this advisory board, and we're grateful for your time in being willing to hear them. I will point out, without giving specific numbers, that staff are working very hard at getting rid of a backlog, although admittedly not so much in the guardianship world, as there are fewer of those complaints, but complaints in general. And so as we continue to move through that backlog, you'll start to see a few more. But the other thing that you will see happen, such as is the case with item 3B, is that we continue to work towards the right disposition, the right outcome on each of these, which is why we ended up for 3B with a settlement today. And so you will be proceeding only on one matter. And with that and our gratitude, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, and on that matter, do we need to take any action with regard to the settlement, such as recommending it to the full commission,
No,
or
you do not.
just to leave it?
Nope,
Okay.
you do not.
All right then. Then we'll move on to the matter for discussion today, which is 3A in the matter of Sandra Evenson, cause number 0825. And with that, I believe I'll turn it over to the staff to brief us on that.
On March 25th, 2025, Melinda Saucedo, compliance manager with the commission, filed a complaint against Sandra Evanson for continuing to act as a certified guardian after her guardianship certification was revoked by the commission for a period of 3 years. The respondent did not submit an answer or return any of the commission's phone calls or emails. However, her certification was revoked prior to the filing of the complaint.
We did find a violation of Commission Rule 7.2A1, and we're recommending the permanent refusal to approve the respondent's private professional guardianship certification and assess an administrative penalty of $500 against her due within 12 months after the date of the final order for this violation.
Okay. Did all the members of the committee have a chance to review
Yes.
the violation? Are they materials? Okay. Is there any discussion?
I have a couple questions. First of all, I was on the commission when it was revoked in August of 23, so I probably participated in that and have some reservation about being involved in this, but it looks like there's a quorum otherwise. But she would also now owe, I think, $4,000, correct? The $3,500 she didn't
Yes.
previously. But my recollection is there are not really any enforcement provisions available. Is that also correct? I
Well,
mean,
the only thing we can do, Your Honor, is to refuse to renew or issue an administrative penalty.
So we can't go chase her for the $4,000.
We can, but it requires jumping through a number of hoops.
Possibly requiring more staff effort than is justified under the circumstances, perhaps, right?
Perhaps.
So, and I may actually even have created some of those guardianships when I look through them, and just to speak, while I don't think I should vote, I'm in agreement with what the recommendation is, but to speak on her behalf, I looked at those guardianships and virtually every one of them is an IDED, maybe mentally ill person, and they're exceedingly difficult guardianships. There are virtually no guardians available. She wanted to do a good thing, as she said in some of her responses, and was simply not able to keep up with all of it and actually work, which she needed to do since there was no way she could get paid for a lot of these. And while she should clearly have paid more attention to it, she took on some big jobs, and there appear to be looking for other people to handle a lot of them without a great deal of success, which just speaks to the need to supplement the available guardian pool. So those are the things.
And Judge Spencer, for what it's worth, I think that at some level the commission has historically, and you can speak to it from your role on it, the commission has historically recognized the lack of guardians in the state of Texas, and the difficult position in which guardians are placed um, when they take on these very challenging, complex guardianships, and we are in a very tough spot in that regard. I do, however, appreciate your willingness to I guess the technical term, and I'll look to Vina to confirm that I'm right or not, is to recuse yourself on the ultimate decision here, given your prior exposure to the case and potentially your role with respect to her guardianships. And so, while we are aware of the challenging spot guardians are placed in, um, unfortunately, what we have before us is the instant matter, and that's where we land. And obviously, that is what our staff has brought to this complaint review committee for their consideration.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, she wasn't a licensed professional guardian during my time at the courthouse, but some of those guardianships are fairly old. And I looked at them and I thought, oh, I recognize that name, and I recognize that name. And as I said, I may have created some of them, and she took over as a successor guardian in several of them, as far as I could tell. And so I felt the need to speak on her behalf, but I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to vote.
Understood.
And just for clarification, so the only county we're talking about now is Bear County?
It appeared to be correct.
That's correct.
Okay. And has the staff been in contact with the current Bear County probate courts?
And I'm sorry if I can jump in right quick. That we know of, Bear County is the one county that we know of. I can't say definitively that, she's not in Atascosa or any of the surrounding counties, Guadalupe. And so those are the ones that I was aware of. It's difficult, and I know Judge Spencer recalls other guardians in which were across Texas, and often if they aren't registering the guardianships or submitting their annual reports, we don't necessarily know what counties that they're in. But from working on her cases as an investigator myself, I recall that she was pretty much just in Bear County. So I'm hoping that we were able to I guess have her just limited to that. But definitively, I can't say that for sure.
And
Okay.
actually, excuse me, that's a good question. Did you inquire of the surrounding counties? Because she might well have, in my opinion, more likely to have been in Kendall, Comel, or Guadalupe, because I suspect that they'd be a little more active in creating some guardianships than some of the others. But
And unfortunately, I can't remember. I've had such an influx of initiating the complaints lately for all of the professions, unfortunately. And so I don't quite remember what brought this to my attention, but what I can say is that I do kind of a search as much as I can in all of the court databases or whatever that particular county uses to see if I can bring anything up. Um, Now, I don't recall, but I'm usually pretty good about contacting the other counties, but I can't say that again definitively. I guess that's going to be my phrase of the day, unfortunately.
Okay. Has anyone from the staff been in touch with the Bear County probate courts?
Yes.
And so they are aware of the revocation.
Yes, they were aware of the revocation before, and immediately when I was speaking with them, they were immediately taking her off of all of these cases and finding either successor guardians or appointing a guardian ad litem to go out and assess whether these cases needed to be closed or if a guardianship needed to continue.
Okay. And of course, as Judge Spencer just said, because there's a lack of guardians to take on these cases, that may very well take a while.
From my understanding, she has been removed from all of her cases in Bear County.
Okay. So she has no current cases in Bear County.
No.
Good. Okay. Very good.
And I think, Mr. Chairman, I think it is also of note that staff made attempts in several ways to reach out to her, and those attempts were fruitless, and we have had no contact with her with respect to this matter.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Uh, do any other members of the committee or staff have questions or comments?
I had a quick question. I was reviewing the packet and I saw she did respond to an email on August 9th of 2024. Is that the last time that the commission has heard anything from Miss Evenson?
I think everyone's scrolling to check those
What
emails.
you're seeing right now is furious scrolling
Yes.
happening by
Sure,
staff.
sure. It was towards the beginning of the packet, around page 30, I think, is where I saw she had at least communicated and shown, because I guess my concern is she even still alive if she's disappeared and none of the addresses are working?
Yes.
And
That August, oh, yes, I found what you were looking for. The last time that the commission has had contact with Miss Evanson was for her previous case. So the last time Miss Evanson communicated with me was April 24th, 2023. This email is between her and the courts. When I did speak with the courts regarding this case, they stated Miss Evanson, was filing documents in their court. Then they said it stated an attorney appeared on her behalf and just told them, Miss Evanson is overwhelmed right now, because we did have the same kind of concerns of, is she okay? That kind of thing. From our understanding, yes, she's out there. Just, I guess, an attorney was working on her behalf.
I do see a LinkedIn profile for her showing as a current senior human resources coordinator at some place called Well Central Health in San Antonio. And she's held that position for 4 years. So
Yes, and she's maintained that other job. And I don't know if this was kind of a side job or if she was transitioning, but she's always had in which she worked in facilities, I think, or placements.
yeah, I don't have any further questions. Those were my main
Thank you.
questions.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Anybody have a motion to be made? Okay. I will then bring a motion to accept the staff's recommendation and recommend a permanent refusal to approve respondents' private professional guardianship certification and assess an administrative penalty of $50 against the respondent due within 12 months after the final date of the order for violation of the commission rule 7.2A1.
Mr. Chair, can I ask you to reconsider your motion? I think the staff's recommendation was 500, not 50.
Oh, I said 50.
You did.
Yes, please, definitely amend that to 500. Yeah, and forgive my misreading of that there. I meant 500. So let me rephrase my motion. I move that we permanently refuse to approve the respondent's private professional guardianship certification and assess an administrative penalty of $500 against the respondent due within 12 months after the date of the final order for violation of Commission Rule 7.2A1.
And I second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 That's
And,
four
and
to zero.
I recuse myself.
Yes, and I believe Judge Spencer is going to recuse herself, so that's makes all of the voting members have voted for the motion. Motion carries, and that recommendation will be made to the JBCC. Okay. And moving on, selection of the Complaint Review Committee member to attend the JBCC meeting on February the 6th of 2026. Would anybody like to vie against Judge Spencer for that opportunity? Hearing
No,
no
thank you.
voices speak up. Thank you very much, Judge Spencer, for volunteering to do that. And then we'll move on to the next one for future meetings. Are there any future meetings in the works?
We are contemplating one in the near future, but the investigation that would likely result on that or end up on that agenda is still in progress at this time.
Thank you. Okay. And moving on to public comments. Were any of the members of the public present, or would anyone like to make a public comment?
I'm advised by Ms. Holcomb that we do not have anyone queued up for public comment. So unless there are members or staff present who'd like to, there would be nothing for this item.
Okay. And then we will move to adjournment.
May I ask just one question? You said there's an investigation in progress. Do you have any idea when that might be ready to, are you thinking it's before the next JBCC meeting?
I'm hoping to schedule that, Judge Spencer, somewhere in January, which would not let it be it wouldn't allot enough time for anything to be on the February agenda.
Okay. And just, I mean, it's as with everybody else, but I can get pretty bicked up, and if it's a mediation, it's pretty hard for me to break from something like that. So that's why the sooner I can put something on my calendar, the better off I am personally, which is probably true for everyone here.
And
Yeah,
Judge,
absolutely.
we've had some conversations internally about maybe refreshing availability dates, checking to, is it still that Tuesday is the best day for people, or, do we need to look at a different day? So there will be more to come on that in short order.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a comment or anything they'd like to add?
Yep.
I think you had a motion to adjourn, so I'll second that.
Very good. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
All right. It is 1:22 p.m. here on Tuesday, October 21st, and this meeting of the Complaint Review Committee of the Guardianship Certification Advisory Board is adjourned.
Thank you all so much
Thanks,
again.
everyone.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.